are gonna get on boats and go places and get in cars and drive places and get on airplanes and fly places. So we're gonna kind of wing this, and we're gonna move expeditiously through it, which does not mean that you can't continue to imbibe a little bit after we're all done. How late are you gonna stay open, David? Till the party's over. So you know you're in a yacht club with a bunch of sailors when they give you that kind of a response. So the first thing I want to do is I want to thank the Port Angeles Yacht Club here for this party. And are you liking it? So I think I said some of this stuff back down in Iwako. You know, last October, we sat around a Zoom table, a virtual table, and the board members, they're here, and I'll acknowledge them in a second. But we looked at each other and said, gee, are we really going to do this? And if you remember in October, what seemed like eons ago, the COVID numbers were going like straight up. And the board said, you know what, we can't go 2 years in a row without an offshore race. And so we committed to it, and then it was like, where the heck are we gonna go? The borders closed, we couldn't get there, and then we started looking around and said, well, we got Port Angeles, Port Townsend, maybe Anacortes, maybe we can tie it into Anacortes Race Week, and we called Erica, and Erica said, yeah, we think we'd be up for that. What does that mean? So Craig and I drove up here and we met with them, and we met with Erica and David, and where's Ray? Ray's somewhere over here. He raced on John with the Wind, and we met them and toured the facilities and sort of laid out what we were going to do. And it was either October or November, and they said, you know what? This club can do it. And so that's why we're here, and so I want to thank the three of them. We've had numerous conference calls, they've had meetings with the port, meetings with all the local officials. They've been, their own teams putting it together so that they could, have food and everything else. And so let's give them another big round of applause. So before we go any further, I want to give the mic to Erica so she can thank her team, because there's a whole bunch of folks here who I haven't met and don't know, and she knows behind the scenes how much effort has been put into all of the little niggling details to make this thing a success. So I'm going to give her the microphone, and then we'll move on.
Before I get started, I wanted to introduce Mike here. He's from the port. So realistically, could not have actually had any of you guys here without this man's support. So you want to talk real quick?
Thank you, Erica. First of all, I'd like to thank you guys for coming up here. It's been a really treat to be able to host you folks, and I hope we're on your map in the future. It's proven that you could come here and have your race, and that can happen again at that point in time. So I just wanted to thank Jenny and Craig, I believe. I guess he's the event planner, or you have a lot to do with that. Or something.
I didn't know.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, he's doing a wedding next week.
Right. So I have to say that the energy behind this is Erica in a large way. I think that not to say that any past congress couldn't have done this, but I think Erica has to take it out here. So. Really, like I said, thank you very much for coming up here and choosing us to be a part of this whole thing. So
unlike Denny, I actually have cheat notes because my brain's probably like yours a little fried. So the Port of VA was the top of my list. I mean, they've been awesome. I totally adore them. They literally had to kick people out of the marina to make room for you. So we appreciate them, and if you guys chatted with the harbor master, Eric, and you didn't get a chance, be sure and give him a high five and a thank you, because he is a little overloaded and was really trying to figure out what to do with all these people. So appreciate that. Yeah, and pay. That would be great. The other folks that were really helpful was Westport Yachts. You'll notice that middle finger where Rage was parked at. Usually we have these big, massive 100-foot yachts that sit there. So Marty over in the corner, wave, Marty. Managed to kick those big boats out. I don't know where they went, but they're not here, and able to make space for that.
Also,
Yep.
we could give Rage the middle finger.
I think that one, that deserves a drink at the bar.
Thank you.
Platypus, yesterday's spread, some not all of you made it, but those that did, it was quite a fun spread, and we had one of our team members here at the Yacht Club mix up no less than 300 wings for you guys. If you didn't get them, too bad. I have the leftovers and they're mine, but they were all paid for by Platypus here locally, and they just stepped up, and we really appreciate them for that. The other one is Swain's General Store. If you guys drove into town, if you haven't been there, that is the funnest store you've ever been to in your whole damn life. It's like an REI mixed with some old town stuff. It's funky and fun, and it has everything you could possibly spend money on in that store, I swear. They actually provided for you guys goodie bags. They are lined up at the front, one per boat, with a few other goodies for some of your crew and whatnot. So be sure, everybody, please grab the bag, because I don't want to be left with goodie bags at the end. One per boat. And the last thing I'm going to, well, two things. Number one is a big thanks to the PAYC team of volunteers. We had a massive amount of kitchen help today. We had setup help. We had bartenders. We had people yesterday. We had cooking. We had just a lot of support from our team. So I appreciate them. Last but not least, there is over here on the wall, Walker, wave to the wall. Oh, Darren, next to you. We have a thermometer. I'm going to do a plug here because we have our community voting program. This is what supports, it's our nonprofit. This supports all of our youth endeavors as well as our adult lessons. So you guys love this sport. This is a duh. If you want to support something and getting kids on the water, this is how you do it. You donate to us. We can give you a tax deduction receipt for that. Totally up to you if you just want to do a cash donation. We also are selling some swag on the back bar. Or we were? No, we're not. Okay. So a big shout out for that. If you guys can pitch in, I would totally love that, because each one of our FJs, anybody see all the FJ here?
Oh yeah.
Pretty damn fun, aren't they? Each of those cost us about $10,000. And at this point in time, yeah, that's what they cost now. At this point in time, we have more kids than we have boats. And it's a horrible feeling to turn away kids. So if you guys can pitch in to help us fill our thermometer, I would love that. I think the last thing I have is a thank you for you guys for coming down here, and a pennant from PJ.
No, go away. This is the pennant exchange. Like a hostage exchange, only a little bit different. And so here's your Bergie from this year's Pacific Northwest Offshore, and here's a CYC Bergie for you. Okay, I also have notes, and what I wanted to do next is, I don't think anybody here from the Porterville Waco, but I just wanted to do one last shout out to them. You folks were down there, you saw what a great job they did. Guy Glenn, Andy Day, Amy Barnes, and Jenna Austin were our connections down there. And, I think the mayor said for 50 more years. So that's where we're going to go for 50 more years. The start boat that we had is the Coho Sally. They've been doing it for years. Mike Castanelli is the driver and owner of that boat. He actually does fishing charters. So if you're ever down in El Waco and you want a good, fishing charter, that would be the guy to go see. But Craig was out on that boat, and then we had what is her name? Maria Swearingen did all of the photography from the boat. So we're going to post some of that work, and we'll have that available too for folks to see. And then Bruce Hedrick, again, it's sailish.com. He provided the weather report that you got in your skipper's bags. And to be honest, we didn't check on the way up the coast, but maybe some of you did. He's a great supporter, and if you ever need any kind of weather reporting for any kind of sailing events or anything, we really want to promote Bruce as the guy to go to for that. So that's that. And then board members, I've got board members here in the room. I think I forgot one or two while I was down in El Waco, so I wrote them all down. I got Phil Lewis, and then Eric Hopper, Doug Shank, Mary Hartel, Craig, Tom Keffer, Jeff Duvall were some of the inspectors. Now, if I forgot anybody else as a board member here, so raise your hands so they can see the people that helped put this on. Okay, so now when you hit the dock last night, or in Aja's case, this morning about 2 hours ago, right? There were a group of people that met you at the dock, and those folks are sitting at this table right here, right? We have, and where's Paul Oliverio? He's taking photos. Paul was there also and acting as sort of an assistant on the finish line and so forth. So we got Paul Oliverio, we have my daughter Maxine Kinnison, we have Ryan Andrews, Jessica Kinnison. This is sort of a family thing going on there, and then Jane Gregory. So these were the folks that stayed up through the night and woke up whenever a boat was coming in and brought down the hot towels and the champagne. So and my daughter pointed out that the other welcoming person thing was Callie. These bulldogs get their time in the sun also. Okay, and then, I want to thank all of the racers. I did this when we were down in El Waco for stepping up and just being willing to, say that you were in early on so that October, November, December, January, whereas we're looking at ourselves and still wondering, we knew that there was the willingness to trust us and to, put the effort and the money and the time and everything else to go do this race. So I want to thank you all for that, but I also want to thank you for another thing that I learned about late last night, is that there was a couple of boats that in one way or another were communicating with VTS and also with one of the freighters that was coming down the straits, and the freighter actually called VTS back and said, these sailors are very courteous and they're keeping us informed, and we appreciate that. And so pat yourselves on the back. We didn't have the entire strait to be, going back and forth and looking for breeze and everything. It was a bit of a narrow channel with the border being closed and all of that, and the shipping lanes are right there, and yet we managed to come off really looking good to VTS, and that helps us because we have to get a permit every year to do this race. So I want to thank all of you for being responsible that way. Now I've lost my numbers here. Okay, and then I think I'm close to the thank yous, and we can start with the. Hey, Daddy, can I just add something? Craig, you certainly can. While I get caught up on my notes.
Around the issue of the VTS, as Denny said, we have to every year get permits from them, the Coast Guard as well, and every year I'm in communication. There's a gentleman that runs the entire VTS. His name is Laird Hale, and he's actually, I don't know what he looks like, don't know where he lives, but every year we have about an hour conversation, and he has always been very appreciative of everybody's efforts to keep the traffic lanes clear and to cooperate, and to have whoever the boats were that were communicating with the ships. That's a big deal for us, because Laird is always concerned and wants to make sure we all understand he's concerned about our safety, but he's also concerned about his ship. So thank you very much for that.
All right, so now there are a couple sort of housekeeping things. We had difficulty this year. We made a big switch this year to use Coral Reef for our hats and t-shirts and all of that. And we think it's going to be a great relationship, an ongoing relationship. I know when I did Charleston Race Week, they did that, and they do a lot of races on the East Coast. But, you know, we had COVID shipping issues, we had all kinds of other little wrinkles that got in the way, and so I want to apologize for those of you who haven't gotten your shirts yet, your hats, or that we didn't have them here for sale and all of that. It's just, sometimes that's the way the world turns. But our key connection there is Mary Hartel. She's on our board. She has bird dogged this thing from the very beginning. Tons of emails and communications with those folks who, frankly, they're swamped with races that are now starting, and their suppliers, as you've probably read in the news, their suppliers haven't been able to keep up with, you know, the shirts and stuff that they have. So Mary's going to give you the particulars of, you know, if you've already ordered stuff, you haven't gotten it yet, what's going to happen. And the website, too, is going to be open for 2 more weeks, so you can still order after the event online with Coral Reef. They do a great job, and here you go, Mary.
Well, that's what I was gonna say, so we're good, right? No, is Fortuna here? Anyone from Fortuna? I have a partial order for them. Okay, so as Denny said, Coral Reef has been fantastic to work with. They do a high quality gear, but they had supply side issues. So we've had a couple of partial orders that have arrived. If you picked up your orders, inside there'll be a little pink note that says anything that you didn't get will ship to you directly and still be free of charge. There won't be any shipping. That was the idea for sending things here. So we're good there. The store is open for another 14 days. You can get a link to that store if you don't know where it is from our website or on our Facebook feed. That's good. I do have about half a dozen hats here yet to sell today, if you like, 25 bucks a piece. Fortuna has stuff here. True Love also has stuff here. Anyone?
They're both gone.
They're both gone. Okay, we will ship to them. And then late breaking, I was just handed some of these as well to sell. So if anyone didn't get a birdie for this year's race and who would like one, we have some. And that's my story.
That's your spirit. Okay. All right. And I know I've been saying this over and over again. We'll do better next year. Okay, sorry. We did it. Okay, so we're going to start with the awards. Where did Garrison go? He quit? My assistant. He handled all the. Hello. 75 years old. All right, so we're going to start with the cruising group, and we're going to start with the awards. All right? And hold on. My phone is on power save or something. All right, so the cruising fleet. We're going to start with the cruising fleet, and in spite of the fact that Kevin thinks that he should have the first to arrive under motor award. Okay, Kevin is third in the cruising fleet for Haven. So while Craig is pulling that out, Kevin, as our title sponsor, he said that his voice is back and he can talk for a minute or two without losing it again, so here you go.
Really wanted to just thank everyone for participating in this event. Schooner Creek Boatworks is so proud to be the title sponsor of this. We have for the previous 3 years, and this will be the start of the next 3 years. We really enjoy this race. Really want to thank the Corinthian Yacht Club of Portland. They do an amazing job. It's all volunteers, and you guys show up and do it every year. And I really want to thank Port Angeles Yacht Club as well. You guys are phenomenal. So thank you all for participating in this year's event.
All right. Okay,
It's
then,
amazing he's frozen.
second place is Sol Pacifica.
Do we get a thing? Or?
Well, This is what it will look like when he gets it. So now, Sol Pacifica, Randall Barnes. Somebody from Sol Pacifica here to take the second place trophy, and going once, going twice.
That's me.
Okay, all right. Then first place is Equilibrium and Nathan Koontz. Is Nathan here? Equilibrium, here we go. And where are they? And they're off cruising. Okay. So then we're going to move on to, hold on, my goodness. We're going to go to the double-handed class next. This class had started off, I think, at 5 participants, and then we had some folks move over, and then we had one person that had to withdraw, which, by the way, we had 4 boats withdraw for a variety of health reasons and equipment issues and so forth. But still, this is our first year for double-handers, and we're pretty excited about it, and so that's Raccoon. So, Raccoon, come on up here. There you go. Want to say something? Say something.
Yeah, well, we got lucky with the weather, so we'll take going downwind for 130 miles and versus downwind the straits in the year. So if you keep having that type of weather, we'll keep coming back. Yeah,
That's it.
Give me a smile right here.
All right, that's my crew. Where's Ken? Where's Ken? Ken. So just so you know, Ken approached us, what was it, back in February or something like that? Somewhere around February, and said, hey, would you folks do a double-handed class? It's like, I guess, I don't know, we've never tried or thought about it. Didn't think that anybody would want to just have 2 people who do this race, frankly, after having beat up the coast as many times as I've done it. And he said, no, wait, I got a whole slew of folks up here. And so we went ahead and did it. They have a great website. If you're interested in doing some either single-handed or double-handed sailing, that's the site to go to.
Northwest Short-Handed Sailing Association. NW
So anyway, but that's the website, and he manages, built the website, I think, is from what I've heard, and they're a great group of folks, and we're hoping we have lots more double-handers in class, double-handed class in the future. So thanks, Ken, very, very much. Okay. So now we're going to go to PHRFB. I know that Smolinski's not here, but True Love, nobody's here from True Love. True Love, if you didn't see the boat, well, either in Oahu or here, you'd have to go to his house to look at it, but you probably could eat off the deck even after they finish the offshore. It's really a pretty amazing boat. And they did a great race, they had a great race, and so we'll get him his trophy. And then first place is, guess what? A local. And that is Gone with the Wind. There you go. And hold that, and then say something and look into the camera.
I like to sit here with Denny. We look good together. I really appreciate everybody from the south coming up and participating and inviting us along to go with it. You guys have been a great bunch. I usually race in Victoria. I recognize some of these boats and these crew, and I've seen those guys at Royal Vic. Those must be Royal Vic guys. Then I realized that you guys travel that long to get up there and race. That's really great. I'd like to thank my crew. We are a conglomerate of the best racers on the Olympic Peninsula. And they all have their own boats, but sometimes we're frenemies. But we decided we'd be friends and sail together for a change. I really appreciate my crew. Thank you guys.
I was telling Craig this morning that, you know, we had Gone with the Wind and they won, and I said, gee, we gotta recruit some other boats from the local area to come down and go do the race. And as we're walking down the road over there, over to the bathroom, I saw a boat that I think we're gonna approach about doing the race, but the only problem is that with the refrigerator that they have in the cockpit, it's probably not going to pass the SCR inspection. But that, and it looks like be about 7 panes of glass in there. So maybe that one, you know, we'll ask those folks to stay away. But if Ron has any other folks here from local, from either here or Swim, you were saying this Swim Yacht Club has some folks down there that probably would want to do this race. Now you can be our ambassador for all of this. All right. All right, so we're going to move on to PHRF A2. Third place is Free Bowl of Soup, Eric Hopper, Dustin, and Nancy. And the soup guys, they're such shrinking violets that they had to put their boat right here so that everybody could see it. And I just want you to know, you know, third place, they don't care. They want something, and they wanted you to see their boat.
Okay, I guess, first off, it's been a long road to get here with everything going on this year, and amazing how people have stepped up, the racers, both in Waco, and this couldn't have been any better, I mean, after at the yacht club here, so thank you for that. We've been racing together for a long time, and don't see us stopping any soon. This is our 78th offshore. Surprising, and we've won it 28 times, I think, but the rest we didn't finish. So, anyway, thanks guys for such a great event and such hospitality. It's been a lot of fun.
Nothing happens like love.
That's what I was thinking as well.
One quick note here. So we've been sailing together for a long time. But Sam Hopper, here, the youngest person on the team, started us when he was this big, and I caught his finger in the main sheet and taught him that's not where you hold on. But this was his first offshore, and so.
Manageable problem.
All right, PHRF A2, second place goes to Dash.
As soon as you said trade, I was like, wait a minute, electricity.
These guys started out, they were going to be on double-handed class, and then, you know, Ken called me up and said, I got some other people that are saying that, you know, they gotta go. And so they changed classes, but it looks like it was worth it.
Hey, this was great. This is our first offshore, and we certainly had a great time. It's a new boat for us, and new race, and let's do it again next year.
Rock on.
All right.
Okay, so now the first place in PHRF A2 is the boss, Chad Chenwick. Where's the boss?
Alright, just want to say thanks for everything that everybody did, and that this wasn't really the result that I expected. I came into it doing it as prep for Pack Up and getting rolled into that, and it ended up working out really well, and the crew did fantastic, and we did well. And yeah, thank you, appreciate everything.
Okay, so only a couple more to go here. PHRF A1. This is a name that folks have heard over and over again over the years. We appreciate him coming back again this year. It's time bandits Bob Rudius.
Cameron Chu, my foredeck, and he, well, it used to be Barb, and but she was too big. So I want to thank Craig and Denny for all the help I had to get the boat to the starting line. We had some trouble with the propulsion system on the way down. It's a bit embarrassing. I'm not going to tell you what the problem was, but we're seemingly disabled and we couldn't, and there was no wind on the way down. So we're texting to Danny, and Danny put us in contact. And the texts were very unreliable because we were about 20 miles offshore, and about every hour one would manage to leak through, and so we're kind of in the dark on it. And ultimately, Craig contacted Equilibrium, yeah, and he managed to get a hold of. He spotted Equilibrium coming south, and they're coming from Seattle, and they detoured a little bit over, and they hooked us up. We're about 25 miles out from the bar at that point, and they towed us in. And Craig arranged to get us onto the travel lift, and I had contacted Betsy Wareham out of West Sound. She's the owner of West Sound Marina there, and she had contacted the lift in Milwaukee, and they said no possibility to get in there. We're just too booked, we can't do it. But Craig knew somebody that knew somebody, or
the guy that runs the place.
And so we turned the corner and dropped the tow line. I did put the motor on, had enough to get, and we went straight into the travel lift, right out of the water, and we got our problem resolved and we were back in. But when we were offshore not being able to communicate, I was in the deepest bit of despair over having to abandon the race, because I thought that was the end of that. So we were pretty happy, and otherwise we'd have missed a fantastic run down with Spinnaker, which is one of the nicest things you can do with a boat. I mean, it's really spectacular. I do think we're better advantaged when we're feeding the boat. The boat does better feeding up the shore, but that's, who would want to trade it for? And one other little story, I was in contact with the new owner of Rage, Dave, by email prior to the start. Denny, for a long time, you've been with Rage, and I told him, I said, you might not be aware of this, but there is this long tradition where Rage just crushes everybody up the coast, with the wind, and they get up to Tatoosh Island and they just sit and wait for everybody to catch up. And I said,
That's because we're courteous. Irrespective of what Rich says, we're very courteous people.
So I said, you don't want to break with tradition, so just to get that clear. And he said, and he was a nice man, they waited for us at the beginning. And we were on the breakwater there, just crawling, and then sometimes the wind go away, and then we'd go in the other way, and then looked like we're trying to get the anchor out because we're going to get pushed into the breakwater, and we saw that J35.
But the boss.
The boss rounded at just crawling, and it took them an hour from out of that point until they finished. And when we rounded at 12:10, and we needed to finish by 12:45 by our calculations to beat Rage. And so it would sound like it wasn't going to happen, but somehow there was just enough wind and nice smooth water, and the boat got rolling, and we finished it at 12:35. So that was actually, it was kind of fun. I might have a different idea about it, but we had fun. I want to thank everyone for just a great event, and the reception here has been fantastic, and I like the restaurants we found up the street here. If they want to keep it here, I'm just totally happy with it. It's a good place.
Yeah, we didn't wait for you on purpose. pretty nice people on that boat, but, you know, not that nice. Okay, so we have 2 more trophies to give out. The first one is one that I'm particularly fond of because I counted the number of times that Rage has won this, and it's more than one time. And so it's first to finish, it goes to Rage. Dave Rainey had to catch a flight back to Pittsburgh, and so who is here? Where's Jackie or Jake? Where's Jake?
Jackie and Jake.
Jackie and Jake, come on up here and take the photo. Okay, all right. Just my arm. All right, so, and this is the first to finish trophy. And if you feel like, well, we should probably hold that, right? If you feel like counting the number of times we've won, it's okay. All right. Okay, and so then this is the last one we always give out, and it's first overall corrected for this year, and this year's winner is Raku. There you go.
Nice job, people.
So Justin spoke the last time, and so now it's Chris's turn.
I just want to say thank you so much to the organizers. This was a fantastic race for us. We used this, similar to Chat on the Boss, as a Pack Cup qualifier, and we have a great contingent from the Northwest that has Pack Cups in their sights for next year. And so we're super excited to be part of that community. Wanted to welcome everybody to Orcas Island as well. We have a race round Orcas coming up next weekend ahead of race week. And the sailing community up on Orcas, we could not be luckier to have so many excited folks racing up there. So you are all welcome. Please come, and we will see you probably not next year, but the year after.
No, you don't get to take it. That's why we take photos, okay?
Just check it.
But your name will go on there. So this is it. We're going to kind of wrap this up. And again, as Erica said, you got stuff there. Oh, yeah, you got a list? All right, my marketing guy here.
Yeah.
So do the sponsors
Yeah,
here.
real quick, so we shout out, it was kind of touch and go whether we were pulling it off, so we didn't do our normal sponsor packages and all the tiers, but the cool thing is all the folks still from last year stepped up again. I want to thank McCuddy's Marina up in Portland. They were one of our sponsors. Hoosier Fire and Firefighting Equipment, did I say that right?
Huser.
Just like one of the partners.
User fire.
Hoosier Fire.
Huser.
Luckily, they're not based in the state that starts MASS, because I can't pronounce that either. North Sails provided all the gear bags you guys had. Blue Heron Chiropractic, the guy's on Escape Artist. He's a chiropractor, so that worked out well. If you need some help, look him up. Swain's, we're going to talk about them, but they stepped in last minute, and we were happy to add them to the tracker and get them up and running as well. And then also a big shout out to Columbia Crossings, more of a thing for the Portland folks, but they donated 3 months of moorage for a gift certificate that we gave away, and I think that covers it. You covered PAYC and welcome. So thanks everyone.
All right. So that pretty well wraps it up. I don't know that we've got anything else that we need to announce. other than the fact that I did talk to Scott, who's the young man who is handling the marina over there on the weekends. And if you haven't checked in with them about paying for your moorage, I think out of all the racers, there's 3 or 4 that have paid so far. They have your contact information, so someone will follow you up. And my cousin Guido is part of that group. But you might want to go ahead and just check in before you leave and give them a credit card or whatever you have to do for that. And then, you know, take a breath and enjoy the moment. You really all are heroes.
Two things. Did you guys like the Nanaimo bars? Yeah. We heard that that Victoria was giving you Nanaimo bars, and so we recruited our local Canuck, Rebecca. And she recruited, I think, Georgianne, who's here somewhere, and then they literally whipped out all of those, just the 2 of them. They couldn't keep up. We have some uncooked hamburgers that we do not want, we can't put back in the freezer. So if you want to go bag, we'll even cook them for you if you want some hamburger patties. To travel wherever you're going, can you check in with Kelly in here and she will get you set up, okay?
And as far as next year goes, we'll see. You know, I think we're gonna go. They want us to go back. I think we'll probably go to Victoria next year, but who knows after that? But you know, we'll see. You know, you never can tell where things are gonna end up. But we do know we have a friend here and we have a place here. And
This is a dynamic sport.
it is a dynamic sport, and so you know the website and and I forgot to talk about Lily. Lily is our social media person. That's why you've seen all the posts on Facebook and on Instagram and all of that. And she's been documenting everything, and she's been amazing. And so, you know, like us, I don't understand any of this stuff, but like us or subscribe or whatever it is that you do. Mary has some birdies if you want to buy a birdie and some hats to sell. And you know, sometime around September, we're going to spin up the new website and we'll start taking reservations maybe as early as November for next year. And that's all I got.
Great job.
Yeah, so